This right here is a scale 118 Lamborghini Aventador by Bburago. Now I have done a review of this car in the past, but it was with my old camera, and I got a viewer request to do it again in a little bit more detail. So let's get started here. This, as you probably already know, is a budget car, like all Bburagos are. Costs around $30. And if you watched the other video, you probably realized that I didn't like this vehicle very much because it had a lot of quality issues. And that was probably because it was my first impression of it, and I was really disappointed at the quality. But my feelings still have not changed. This is definitely, they really skimped on this car. And there is a Welly edition coming out soon, and I would even recommend waiting for that before, if you're planning on getting an Aventador. Get the Welly instead of the Bburago. You'll see this thing has got some problems. I mean, as far as the looks go, you can tell. I mean, it looks simply awesome. I mean, it really, from a distance, it's a great looking car. So if that's all you're worrying about, then you'll probably be fine. And I tend to look at my models a lot more critically than most people. So in that case, you might be fine as well. So let's get started here on the detail. Now the first thing you probably already noticed were the panel gaps in this. Now this is metal, typically it's plastic, and that's good, but we have big panel gaps there and there, very large one there. Continue on the other side. It's actually worse on this side. You can see, you can almost stick that entire thing in there. Don't know what's going on. Another panel gap. There. This just doesn't match up properly. It's almost like they put the pieces together and just, you know, hey, maybe this will work. But not really. Really loose headlight. Very cool doors, as I just showed. But I foresee them getting loose someday, so that wouldn't open them up too much. More panel gaps, this time underneath the headlight. It does not stay down, I've tried. And nothing is flush. Nothing at all. Welly, I'm willing to bet, would not have these problems. Pretty small trunk in there. Who needs a trunk? It's an Aventador. Nice Lamborghini logo. This bottom front spoiler, or splitter, whatever it's called, that's metal. It looks plastic, but it's not. Now, with the real Aventador, it has a really cool like DRL effect. It's kind of like an upside down Y. This, you really just don't notice it. Now, that might be rectifiable if you were to take apart the headlight and draw it in yourself, but it doesn't quite work as well. I don't know what it is about Lamborghinis and headlights, because even Welly, on that Gallardo that I showed, that had some headlight problems. And even this, it doesn't match completely. There's more chrome on this one than there is this. You just don't notice it because of the poor quality covering. Back here, this sometimes kind of gets lopsided. Now, you also might notice that my car was a defect. It should have a little camera there, as well as a Lamborghini logo right there. And it didn't come with the rear tail light. I drew that in with a Sharpie. So I can't explain it. That was very disappointing. There's the tail light. Now, strangely, it has the design on the outside, which I don't like because it doesn't look as realistic. And the turn signals are consistently on. I don't know. I really can't explain that. That's my license plate. Underneath it's an Aventador, which is cool as well. Nice logo there that seems to have smudged. Again, just another problem. I really do have to start getting away from the negatives, but that gas cap actually looks like it can come up, but it doesn't. Okay, so let's get into the good of this vehicle. And there is a decent amount of good, so it's not like this is a complete loss. Well, for the first thing, the brake rotors do turn with the wheels, or the brake disc turns with the wheels, and the rotor stays in place. There's also pretty good detail on the wheels, and black is a really good contrast to the white, so it does look really, really nice. I will definitely give it that. No suspension, and yes, there is steering, but it just doesn't work. It's just the design of this car. You'll see underneath I actually jury-rigged this because my particular car had a factory defect in which the wheel was kind of bent upward, so I had to pull it down with string. I'll just show that right now. You can see a really not a ideal job to keep it in place, but using string, wrapping it around a screw, and holding it down with masking tape. Not the best method, but that was the only thing. I also jammed 2 pieces of cardboard in there because the steering, I can't even demonstrate it because I locked the steering, but let me just get one of these cars. Okay, so it was kind of consistently sticking this way, so the car will always have the steering this way, so I wanted to move it a little bit straight, and that's what I had to do in order to do it because the steering is so bad. And this is another poor design issue because the steering rack, which I found out when I opened it up, is actually too small. So like they made the steering rack too small. It's not wide enough for the car. Really? It's just, they didn't think through this vehicle. Underneath there's really nothing, as you can see. The real Aventador's got nothing anyway. It's for aerodynamic purposes. Pretty wide tires in the back. Okay, so here we have the engine bay, which is actually really good. The detail in this car is good. Quality is bad. You can see, V12 written there. Lamborghini written on the injectors. It really is very impressive with that, the crossbar. One of the better supercar engines I've seen, actually. This here is kind of a plastic cover. That does look pretty good, but more panel gaps, do notice that. On the inside, got a nice steering wheel there with a sticker right in the gauge display, which is fine because it's a digital display anyway, so it looks okay. Everything looks good there. Reasonable quality seats. Now the center console looks pretty good. I'm not even sure you call that a center console, but all the buttons are colored in. You can see that big red start button, GPS with the Lamborghini logo on the inside. Kind of a nice textured dash. Pretty good seats. Not bad on the inside, not bad on the engine bay. Everything else, well, you've heard my opinion, and I apologize if this video was pretty negative, but while this car might look good and might be okay for some people, it doesn't fit my idea of what a budget car should be. I've seen cars that get so much better, and Bburago, this is a message to you. You've done a heck of a lot better. I've seen much better work from you guys. So this hopefully will be helpful to some people, and it will hopefully kind of give you a little recommendation on to wait for the Welly. Forget the Bburago, wait for the Welly, because I guarantee it. I guarantee that's going to be better. And it's probably going to be the same price. And that's all. Thanks for watching.